New workshop part 4. Last time we closed off the inside of the office wall with OSB and drywall, did some dusty work and got to know Robin and Stefan.
Hi, my name is Robin.
Yeah, I'm Stefan and
Now we are finishing the wall, which started off with a bit of electrical work. So placing outlets, that started out wonderful with the wrong size hole saw. Great. That meant an early lunch break and hardware store trip. At least this kind of thing only happened once. Yeah, just once. But this one is for the light switch. All the other outlets in the office we placed at a standard height 30 centimeters off the floor and one on top for networking stuff and lighting. The wiring will come together in this box, and right after finishing the cutout we replaced it with a bigger one. Very good decision. Key takeaway from any electrical installation: use a bigger box. As I showed you in part 2 of this series, the whole power supply comes through a hole in the basement. But we quickly realized that one hole isn't enough. Now it should be fine. We then fitted all the cables through the studs and installed the empty outlet boxes and made photos of everything to know where not to drill or screw later. We also only ran cables horizontally or vertically and never diagonal. Here you can now see the power and networking cable going into the basement. And then we could start with the insulation, where we bought Naturheld Flex 50 wood fiber insulation. And this stuff is very cool to work with. It's quite heavy, so excellent for noise dampening, not harmful and very stable in itself. As I mentioned previously, the stud thickness, OSB width and insulation width match up. So in many cases we didn't even have to cut it and could just push it in. Only cutting it is a bit unpleasant. A regular insulation knife works okay-ish, but tears out the surfaces quite a bit. Cutouts for outlets and such worked also great with just a knife, and you can easily rip out chunks for that. But for just cutting, we also tried the circular saw. Very effective actually. Only problem is that it didn't cut deep enough and we had to cut from both sides. The whole job was a continuous learning process, and a few weeks later we got a much better tool. The best would be of course a bandsaw, but my one wasn't there yet, so we just did the best with what we got, and that was really not too bad. So next is closing the outside with OSB. To leave room for expansion, we put down some highly professional spacers, little pieces of tile, about 8 mm thick. And we used that tile spacing at many more occasions. Whenever we needed a spacing, yeah, let's just go with the tiles. Just a very convenient free spacer. Mounting the OSB then was straightforward, and with a small practice from the inside wall, we were faster already. At the window and door cutout, we also again screwed just over it and cut it flush afterwards with the jigsaw and then a flush trim router bit. Then cutting the last pieces on top to size, and the OSB is done.
Hold on.
Remember that we routed the cables at a 30 centimeter height, so where should you avoid to put screws? Yeah, that's me screwing right there. It was right about here. At least we caught it, opened the wall back up to check, and we missed it by just about a millimeter. Phew! Thank God we learned from this mistake, and this didn't happen at any other wall. Anyways, next comes the drywall, but that will be a topic of the next. Just kidding, we're doing that now. First, the easy full sheets at an offset to each other, and then all the rest cut to size. And here's how we did that. Marking the length from both sides, aligning a straight edge, and score the surface with a knife. Then breaking it and cutting through the back layer. Now straightening the cut surface, adding a chamfer with a knife and hoping it fits. Jackpot for this one.
Vergiss die Maßfliese nicht.
All in all, easy going, but if you have any tips on going faster, let us know. We would love to learn from your experience. We also flush trimmed the drywall, maybe unnecessary in hindsight, but it definitely was satisfying to look at, and the window fit was actually pretty tight. Last step before fill and plaster was fitting the outlets on the outside and fishing for the cables we left there.
Ja. Warte. Okay. Okay. Wie viel haben wir noch? Du hast ja noch, oder? Ja. Das reicht auch schon. Das reicht schon. Schön. Ja.
Very happy with how everything has turned out so far. The plastering work we had then done professionally, because none of us had experience and we wanted that to look good, which it does. One evening I came in with my dad to install a window. We got that window for free, but had to pretty it up a bit and remove this part. That was a real workout. 5 minutes of continuous hammering is exhausting. Then to install a frame, we first had to remove the glass, which on this kind of window can be done by just wedging out the inner frame. Then we cleaned off the plaster from the edge a bit and prepared some spacers. Because the plan was to wedge the frame in the opening with spacers and screw it down from the inside. Quite possibly not the best way of doing that, but it's an indoor window, we had the screws, and that was quick. Without the glass, we could paint the wall the next day, and with the paint dry, I cleaned the glass and put it back in. But now there was still this gap between the window frame and the wall, so we removed it again to install sealing tape all around. Very good decision, that did a lot for noise dampening. And finally, we got the door installed by a professional, and that is the office wall complete. Well, the window still needs a frame, but you could also already see the next job, the office ceiling, which we are very proud of, and that's the topic of the next video.